Happy holidays, Annette.
Happy holidays, Renee. Today we're going to do about the parents and what they could do to make their home or where they're going to be traveling to enjoy the holidays a bit safer for everybody involved.
Love it.
All right. When adults and children and families are all meeting, and there's probably a lot of strangers in there as well that are coming over, visiting, dropping off gifts, you name it, listen for quiet. That quiet that parents go, you know what, it's too quiet right now. Get up, check on the kids. Don't go long periods of time without just getting up and checking on them. They may be just playing a game on the floor like Monopoly, who knows, but go in, check on them, make sure everything's going okay. If it's too quiet, that could be an issue, as well as you hear whimpering, you hear crying, or you hear raised voices. Get up, go check. I know you want to have them take care of their own situations and learn how to handle social situations, but at the same time, you're not there to help guide them in it. And we're trying to prevent sexual abuse. We're trying to prevent all of those things happening. And that could be a recipe for it if your children go off and they're in a separate room with all these different kids, visitors, you name it.
Yep. And a kid could have just seen something on TV or on a video
and wants to share it on their phone that they have with them, which brings up watching.
Well, before that, they'd want to just show it and reenact it. And then you've got the thing of, let me show you what's on my iPad. Let me show you what's on my phone.
There you go. And, or let me jump on the computer. I want to share this site with you. So we just had a rule of just nobody on the computer while we have guests over, but you may be going to somebody else's house and they don't have that rule. So just sharing with your kids, no computer while we're at this other person's house. There's enough stuff for us to do while we're there to visit. No.
Yes. What we're getting at is we're trying to avoid the porn. We are trying to avoid your child being exposed to things you don't want them being exposed to because of someone else's curiosity or because they're not being an adult present. You know, they can go cruising the internet.
Yes, absolutely. Also, watch alcohol. I'm not saying you can't serve alcohol, but be careful with it, because if it's right there with all the other drinks that are going on, Kool-Aid punch and all this other stuff, and a lot of times alcohol might be mixed in a punch, it could be a temptation for young teens or whatever. They just want to taste it because it looks so pretty with the foam on top or who knows what, but we want to keep them from drinking being underage.
An idea to do with that, I know as a kid, it was told to me by other kids, you know, that's the drink that you got to have. You know, the one in the sparkly punch, you know, punch thing, and the one that all the adults are carrying around in the fancy glasses. You want to just be one of them. I didn't partake, but I just remember that being the buzz. Like, you want to be old enough, or you want to just take it, and cousins would take it without permission and without being seen. But a tip, just for those that may be serving that alcohol, make it a separate section, you know, that is monitored by adults and is by the adults, so that the kids can't just come up there and grab it.
Good suggestion.
Make it hard for them to get a hold of it. And the other thing about the alcohol too is the consumption of it. When folks consume too much, they can get a little bit more friendly and make some unwise choices. So you also want to pay attention to some of that as well.
Yes.
There are different behaviors that come from it when it's overused.
Good way to put it. The other is, a lot of times during holiday parties, there's candles. Even in the summer when you got the mosquito candle, the citral thing that they have, but there seems to be a lot of candles and it looks beautiful in places and such. And they'll say, you know, everybody's at least over 5 years of age, or, you know, even I've seen, you know, everybody's above 12 years of age and they have candles, and it could still be a problem. Bottom line is, no playing with fire. It does become a temptation for those who get bored or enamored with it, and accidents can happen in those moments.
Yes. So telling the children ahead of time, we're not messing with the candles that are decoration. We're not messing with any fire, period. Because you could have the fireplace going as well, and that's also a draw.
Yes.
Putting cardboard in, seeing how long this stick can burn for, that can lead to other problems. And having that safety plan of if there were fires or other, accidents that happen, where would you meet? And you have one that you do all the time with your family.
Well, it was just the emergency plan. We're going to all meet at the car. I was from California. We'd make it through, you could be in all different places of the house or even in the backyard and there's an earthquake. Well, you've been taught the safety instructions of what to do during an earthquake, but when it's done, we all meet at the car. So we have a central place we're meeting at the car. And so if you're at somebody's house, you're still, wherever the car is, that's where you guys are going to meet afterwards. So just an emergency plan already set in place.
That's important. I throw in there being approachable also, just being that approachable parent. Like for myself, my story, I was more comfortable telling my mother because she was already planting the seeds of here's what's not appropriate, of things that could happen sexually and abuse, as well as she was approachable and said, this ever happens, you come tell me. This ever happens, you come tell me. And she
I want to know. Yes.
Over time, it was a repetitive message that came every so many months that it finally, it lodged in like, okay, so this is important to my mom. This is somebody I can trust. So it's just
safe.
another, yep, another parental safe thing.
The other is don't force your child to kiss or hug somebody because they're saying goodbye and they want to hug everybody and your child all of a sudden pulls back. It's okay. They could just say, no, thank you. You could teach them to be respectful and do the no, thank you like your grandson does.
Yeah.
Maybe not in that case, but he does it in a lot of different things. If it's something he doesn't want or what, no, thank you. I love that.
And it's important that you're teaching your kids these things, even with tickling or sitting on somebody's lap, because even in those gestures, abuse can happen in that as well. But besides that, you're also teaching your kids that you value their body and they're learning how to value their bodies too and putting their own boundaries down. I don't like how this feels. I don't like being on that lap. I don't like the mushy kiss. I don't like being that close. There's a lot of different reasons. So you're giving them the permission to own how they feel and to be safe themselves.
Excellent. Excellent advice. Yes. The last one I have is know where your kids are and know where your guests are. So a common one is finally it's late enough and you put the kids to bed and the adults are just there and they're going to play cards or whatever it is. And maybe a guest excuses themselves because they're going to go to the restroom and they're gone for a little bit or whatever it is. You need to eventually get up and make sure, just check on your kids, see how they're doing. Find out where that guest went off to, if they're in the bathroom or are they outside doing something, or where are they? Because again, we need to be able to be watching our children because so much abuse is an adult just all of a sudden slipping into their bedroom. When everybody thought, well, they just went to the restroom while they're gone for a while or whatever it is. Know where your guests are. And you may have lots of guests, that type of thing. Then tag team with other people to be able to keep an eye on all the guests or all the children.
Yeah. And the other thing just to throw at that is give your kids parameters of where they can and can't go. Because it could be a 3-story house or it could be a barn out there. Who knows? But just the areas that they're allowed to be at. Give them those parameters so that you have an easier way of seeing.
Yes.
Viewing, being able to get up and check.
Yeah, like we have for our granddaughter. If you're out of sight, I'll start yelling, I can't see you. I can't see you. And she knows I went a little too far. And then she'll come around. I'm right here. I know, but I couldn't see you. Okay. And she'll move her playing stuff to where we couldn't see her. She could be far away, but she knows we can see her.
It's important.
That's important. We're able to keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good tips.
Oh, one other thing, sorry, was to train your kids that if they're in a room and a gun is being brought out, unless they're with you or your other trusted people, adults in your life, they're supposed to leave that room. If somebody brings out a gun, they're supposed to leave that room. I don't care if a child is just saying, hey, look what I got for Christmas. They could take that gun that they got for Christmas and bring it out so that everybody sees it, where there's an adult present, as well as they don't, unless it's a trusted adult, they need to leave that room. No exception. Somebody brought out a gun, said, oh, I got to go out into the other room, but you could bring the gun out there so my parents can see it, whatever it is. But it's just a safety.
No touching. Yeah. Or even, hey, look what my dad got during Christmas or whatever. Doesn't matter whose gun it is, right? It's you see, you flee. See a gun, you run.
You need to go into the other room where the adults are. Absolutely. All right. There we go. That's it. That's it off our list for today. Okay. Bye-bye.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yes.